Well, we've come this far. The sooner we can get this done, the better it will be for the rest of us.
This is the last part, right? You aren't going to find any new materials so suddenly, are you?
Not at all. By the way, for those who need a refresher as to his arguments in the last part, here's a straightforward clip that should bring you all back to speed.
I was being a bit of an idiot.
You have all been brought up to speed. Say night. Look at his description in the first part.
Comments and video responses are available for the second part because I would like to know your thoughts on the whole presentation. Damn, no wonder I couldn't dislike or comment on that part. That actually makes sense. Well, let's go to part 2 and leave a friendly comment about a stupid crap. Oh, you lie, motherfucker! Let's just move on.
Argument 8.
Many corporate logos have changed since a long time ago. You think Chrysler was bad? Look at the Warner Brothers logos. But wait, you say, how could they have changed? They were Warner Brothers for Christ's sake, dude. Well, take a look at this logo. This was when Seven Arts purchased a part of Warner Brothers back in the late 60s. That was their logo for a short period of time, but then reverted back to their original later. And what about Scream Gems? First you had the Columbia Torch Lady, then this logo that looks like it should have been in the Modern Art Gallery. All logos are guilty of these major changes, Guptill, and all of Chrysler's logos are very well known either way. So if you can't pick out the Chrysler wings or the Chrysler Pentagon, then you're not familiar with Chrysler at all. Simple as that.
True, the Warner Brothers and Screen Gems alterations were pretty stupid, but at least they had the courtesy
didn't say they
to
were
place the
stupid.
business name
He was just
along
pointing out
with
other
the
companies who had their
insignia.
logo changed drastically
Also,
too.
little do
Yet
you
people
know,
could still
you were
easily
actually
identify them due
adding
to how
my
long they've
argument.
been around.
I complained about Chrysler because while some can be familiar with the manufacturer, they can still get bewildered, especially if they went to an old-fashioned car show, or if they're on the road and spot a vehicle with any one of these symbols on it, because they can forget what trademarks the corporation had.
Does anyone really care that much to try to figure out what company made what car anywhere? Hell, I'm sure they care less about it while on the road, especially while driving.
Besides, most, if not all, cars, regardless of age, have their brand names embossed, embedded, or plainly laid out on the side, back, or front hood of the car. You can easily identify what the brand name of the car is if you just did a little bit of searching. Also, the internet. Its search bars are there for a reason!
This response also applies to what you mentioned after I said, "What company is that again?" Argument 9.
Have you seen the modifications of the Pepsi logo over the years? The general design remained the same, of course, but the Pepsi font changed, and the overall design of the Pepsi ball slightly changed. And you're okay with that?
Yes, I am.
In the name
because as
of
long
double
as it says
standards?
Pepsi
What?
on the can, bottle, or other object, nothing is wrong. The long line of modifications is a perfect example of consistency, something a few other organizations like Nike and Gatorade lack.
But what about Tropicana and Gatorade? So Tropicana gets nothing but blasphemy for having its font changed and turned sideways, despite it being green text in a white background, but it's fair fucking game if Pepsi does the same thing? People, Guptill has once again expressed his double standards in this video.
And Gatorade has the same goddamn lightning bolt. They're being consistent, but when it's a big fat fucking G behind a lightning bolt, it's crap? That makes no goddamn sense!
But what about the Mountain Dew example you presented earlier? You had a problem with the word being more italicized, but you have no problem with complete font changes unless the Pepsi ball looks similar.
Refer to what I said earlier about the Mountain Dew issue since I don't want to recapitulate.
How cute. Guptill knows big words to make himself sound smart.
If you guys need another refresher as to what he said back then,
I was being an idiot.
you have all been brought up to speed again. Also, half of this argument you agreed with, so now you only had 10.5 arguments you disagreed with.
I don't know. What is the point of this video?
To point out actual problems with the economy that most folks take for granted?
People take it for granted because they adapt to the change and not give a shit about these fucking changes. I agree with Youngblood. What is the point of that rant?
Argument Dece. This is his opinion about the remodeling of the Dunkin Donuts building.
The current design didn't change too much, they just adopted orange, so of course the outside sign must turn orange to keep the building up to date, so that it doesn't get replaced with another store. The roof must match too, so the building doesn't look out of place and outdated with the new sign change, and the interior must match for the same reason. So why are you complaining about progress and maintenance? Do you want your local Dunkin Donuts to go out of business?
If an establishment only gets redecorated, it shouldn't be considered progress. The real definition of progress would be expanding the size of the structure or putting up an entirely different premise altogether.
But don't you get tired of the same damn thing over and over and over again? I do. I like pizza, but I don't eat it every single day. I just want something different. Same thing goes for redecorating your house or something. Because some people just get tired of it or just want to change.
Take this, for instance. The old McDonald's properties in New England had an appearance that looked like a 3D interpretation of the original Pizza Hut seal. Now, the buildings are rectangular cubes with bricks and stone. Despite the fact that it slightly looks like a car dealership, it's an appropriate redesign. Also, they added more parking spaces. On the other hand, going from this to this doesn't work. And besides, as long as the sign has the words Dunkin Donuts on it, individuals are going to order the treats anyway.
If that's the case, why complain? The changes don't hurt business. It just helps keep the building up to date because of either preventing the building from damages because of age or because of laws requiring it to be that way.
Let's take a nice good look at the pictures you showed us again. This first one looks dirty, there's a lot of dust, the roads don't seem to be paved, the color scheme and the design look obsolete too. Yeah, this version looks kinda unappealing. Now let's look at this newer version. Okay, the roads look paved properly, a lot less dusty too. The store seems overall optimized, and it just looks well maintained. Just a well-maintained place to conduct business. Youngblood mentioned maintenance as his argument, by the way, which you have evidently looked past. Maintenance is a crucial part of progress, and just because you don't like the store for its apparently unnecessary change and seemingly poor choice of moving the goddamn counter, the same cannot be said for most other consumers.
Argument number 11.
Your way of thinking is dangerously counterintuitive to the nature of the invisible hand of the economy. Again, Adam Smith would spit in your face.
And quite frankly,
please.
so do I.
If I didn't
I don't
possess
even care
the
if I sound
knowledge
dickish there.
exemplified in the presentation, the bad U.S. economy could get worse. A lot of officials are greedy and are spending thousands of dollars to do things that inflame the financial crisis.
Wait, if people are greedy, why spend money? If they are so greedy, they would do anything to keep that money. Maybe I'm hearing it wrong, but I don't know, the writing just seems off to me.
Such as this. In Somersworth, New Hampshire, there used to be a medium group of houses in one particular area. Citizens lived in that area. There was also a furniture store as well. But one day, all those buildings were torn down just to construct a CVS pharmacy. If you thought demolishing the houses was bad enough, across from the pharmacy is another pharmacy owned by Rite Aid. Brilliant. Simply brilliant. What they should have done was nothing. But if they kept the plans to put up a CVS pharmacy, all they would need to do is set it inside the place where Rite Aid was if that particular store went out of business, and just keep the homes and furniture store. That would be an example of a healthy economy. I doubt Adam Smith would be mad at me.
God. Fucking. Damn it! People, this rebuttal right here clearly shows how Guptill has no idea how the economy works. Allow me to explain. Knight, take a seat. I'm taking over this portion here. Let's tackle this bullshit rebuttal piece by piece. Given your subscription counter, would any official really give two fucks about your quote-unquote knowledge about the US economy? Get off your high horse, will ya? Now, the homes. You clearly see this event in nothing but black and white. The situation, much like the economy, is more complex than you think. You sound as if the landscapers for the CVS pharmacy just waltzed up to everyone's home and went, "Hello, we're gonna build a pharmacy here. You have 1 hour to get out of here or else we'll steamroll you." No! Let's take the homes into consideration. What if the conditions weren't livable enough for people anymore? What if the complex owners decided to increase the expenses of the homes? What if the neighborhood was already becoming void of homeowners? Speaking of homeowners, what if they couldn't handle expenses anymore? Maybe they found cheaper homes to live in. What if the construction company helped them find cheaper homes to live in? Finally, the furniture store. What if they were losing business? They probably just relocated. What if they got vandalized? These are just multiple, valid, and realistic scenarios you failed to take into consideration.
Don't you actually live there, or at least have access to the area? Would it have killed you to go to the previous homeowners or the CVS pharmacy employees or owners and ask what happened? You know, so that you would actually have the facts to properly back yourself up for once?
Now for Economics 101. In order for any economy in the world to continue flourishing, money needs to fluctuate in a constant, healthy pattern. With prices constantly going up, companies going bankrupt, subprime mortgaging, monopolies becoming more abundant, and so on, the US economy, along with most other economies in the world, are in a mediocre state. The fact that you oppose the Rite Aid pharmacy existing clearly showed that the one major factor in an economy you completely fail to understand is capitalism, which requires competition between companies in a certain part of the industry, like Sony, Microsoft, and Nintendo competing in the video game industry, Burger King, McDonald's, and Wendy's competing in the fast food industry, and in this case, Rite Aid and CVS Pharmacy competing in the pharmaceutical industry. Competitions like these help prevent monopolies, for they result in a potential standstill of people spending money since they only have one choice to spend their money at. Why do you think people get on the case of Walmart, McDonald's, to a certain extent Steam, GameStop, and Best Buy? With competition, people have more choices to spend their money at other establishments that might offer better service or lower prices than their competitors. Now, do you see just how goddamn complex the economy can function? And I think I just scratched the surface. But you know what? At least I, along with several others, see the economy from multiple angles and in several forms of colors, unlike you, who only see the economy painted in black and white like a godforsaken motherfucking dog! I need a break. Knight, do something, will you? Entertain him for something. I gotta take a break. God damn it, Guptill! I've never raged like this before!
I have nothing to add. So, intermission.
Argument 12. This comes after the closing statement.
Then it is necessary to change it to make sure that the store is kept up with the times and to catch a person's eye. That's the necessary reason to change it, Guptill. You said so yourself.
Bad news. You misunderstood. Again, refer to what I said about that stuff earlier because I don't want to reiterate it.
Okay. I've returned. You'd be surprised with how much Daft Punk and Skyward Sword can calm you down. In any case, I would put up an annotation or something showing where you guys can go back to, but since Guptill likes to leave out explanations so carelessly, I can't.
Guptill, you need to understand the basics of our economy. You can't just have everything remain the same all the time. Otherwise,
God, what did he censor?
He
censored goddamn.
Seriously? What's wrong with the normal censor beep? Like when I say and why the f***ing alarm horn?
Became ridiculously successful and part of our mainstream culture.
Well, guess what? Gatorade, Nike, and Chrysler have been part of the American culture for quite a lot of years, and their symbols didn't have to go through such baffling alterations throughout the course of time.
Can we see the logos for Gatorade and Nike again? Thanks. Now, how are these changes baffling again? I see a lightning bolt, and I see a swoosh.
Well, the Nike logo is missing its name, and you know what? Fuck it. I don't have the motivation anymore to act like an idiot and pretend to be Guptill.
The problem is, most workers aren't that smart.
But some workers aren't that stupid either.
You once again act as if you're smarter than they are. You're not! If you were, you'd be filling in their shoes right about now rather than complaining about such trivial things over the internet.
Also, it's actually bad marketing to confuse customers.
You make it sound like they're trying to confuse people. What they're trying to do is get people interested in the product by making logos modern and stylistic.
Well, that's it. 12 arguments, all of which I disagree with. That is a lot.
All of which I disagree with. Clip from argument 4 again.
This is the only argument that I agree with. The reason I compared those two pictures together is because I thought that MTN would perplex some persons. Little did I know, I was being a bit of an idiot.
And the second half of the 9th argument?
Refer to what I said earlier about the Mountain Dew issue since I don't want to recapitulate.
Thanks again. Guptill, did you reread your script or watch your video before uploading it? I don't think so. The odd pulsating quality in some of your videos like Rant-A-Wreck 3 or your voice demo and the mistakes in Rant-A-Wreck 4 and this response seem to show that you upload videos as soon as you're done. You have no form of self-quality control. Is it that hard to watch a video you just finished putting together? The first 2 commentaries on you, I must have watched a dozen fucking times before rendering and uploading it. I also watched them one more time after rendering the videos and before uploading it to make sure they looked fine. I make sure there aren't huge mistakes like you're making. And one more thing, an annotation is not a fucking band-aid. The mistake is still there, it's still glaring, and it shows you don't know what in the holy flying fuck you're doing.
So, young blood, as well as everybody else, I hope you've comprehended this long reply and will take into account strategies to help build an actual, robust economy.
Like the
Thanks for
opposite
watching,
of everything
and have a great
you said.
day.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we survived to the end of this travesty of a response.
Just glad to be done with this shit!
Before we close off, Knight, give your final thoughts about this, then I'll follow.
Guptill, did it ever come across your mind why there were so many commentaries on you? Did it ever come across your mind that you might be wrong? Did you think for 1 second to stop these rants? Nobody is going to take your advice because despite what you might believe, you're wrong. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. You know what? I'm going to give you some advice. Shut the fuck up and go back to your glitch and Easter egg videos because everything you touch turns to shit. You can't rant, you can't animate, you can't repute anybody. And knowing you, you're going to ignore everything I say and keep assuming you're right because you're so goddamn ignorant. Just listen for once and maybe you'll learn a thing or two. Grow a pair and take what people say like a real man or stay in the corner like a goddamn pussy.
Now for my final thoughts. Guptill, you've done it again. You have shown to the digital world just how incapable you are of refuting a user and defending your points. First, you complain about the Sonic fanbase's reaction to the voice change since 4Kids took over the voice cast back in 2005 or 2006. Then, you complain about Ray William Johnson's Doing Your Mom song, despite you having apparently no problems with its revised title, Stalking Your Mom. And now here we are. You try to refute Youngblood with baseless nitpicking assumptions and try to mask it with a false professional-seeming attitude so that you would seem more valid to those who really don't know what you've done lately or to those who have stuck with you since your Easter egg videos. Your inability to think thoroughly into the economy in general is so apparent and evidential that you make yourself look worse when denying it and overall avoiding the general refutes against you, as proven in your comments on Youngblood's short responses and Savage Broadcast's personal message interview. Finally, for the last time, get off your goddamn high horse and quit acting like you're smarter than our workers today. Nobody likes an egotist on the internet.
Now after 4 commentaries, I am done with Guptill. Next time, I want to do something else. Now if you'll excuse me, I need to go play Sonic or something and calm the fuck down.
I don't blame you, Knight. I think I'm done with Guptill as well. I'm gonna go calm down and relax a bit, so see you all again in another time, in another video.